Yeah, blocks out the Deadeye. They're going to break a little bit through. Oh no, Myra slept. Still holding on to that Graviton Surge and Earth Shatter out.
Shiny Hero going down early is not a good start.
Oh yeah, this is backfiring instantly.
Taking out Temple. Oh, that's a big Diva Bomb.
Oh, great Graviton, and here comes Immortality of that Orisa. They're able to start moving the way forward.
Reflect. Amy took Goose out of the fight.
To take down Ghostly.
Taken down by good EMP there from the side.
Side of things, but he said no, and would
Blade does come through, cleans up Merrick, cleans up Don.
Picks there, those big ones, and Ghostly gets 2. Diva Bomb, that might do a bit of damage. It does.
Great job here. Deadeye as well to cover up a different angle.
Taiju gets 3! No, this is not happening! So 100% he's close. Ghostly will get 2. Like they're gonna use losing
I don't believe and 1 HP are your Ascent champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 4 of the Amateur Australian Overwatch Ladder, hosted by the Amateur Oceanic Esports. I'm Stranger, and tonight joining me is Niki. How you doing, mate?
I'm really good, Stranger. Thank you for asking. I missed casting last week. It feels so good to be back on the mic. I cannot wait to get into tonight's matches. It's going to be really hype. We have such a good lineup, and I'm just really keen for some Overwatch action. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be good. The AAOL always has exciting matches.
Yeah, they never fail to deliver. But before we jump into tonight's matches, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, My Republic Gamer. Stay home with the #1 broadband provider for gaming. My Republic offers fixed broadband plans and services that provide ultra-low, ultra-stable latency connections, optimizing your gameplay experience. Enjoy exciting privileges, special gaming offers, and exclusive access to specialized gamer perks. Make sure you visit myrepublic.net to check them out today.
Yeah, thanks a lot, My Republic, for keeping this boat afloat. So, for those that aren't informed, here's a quick summary. AAOL is a weekly casual tournament. It's run all across the Oceanic server for Oceanic players. It's the most popular tournament in the region currently, hosting around 70 teams, and it's now in its 10th season. If you'd like to take part, you can sign up yourself or with the team. Just visit the links below the stream to get involved. So now, Niki, tell us a bit about tonight's match.
So tonight is it's going to be a bit of an ego match within the Throw Daddy Esports organization. So this match is taking place in Division 5, and it will be dads having a great time coming up against lads having a golden gay time. So like I just said, they're both from the Throw Daddy Esports, and I think something really important to mention here on the side of dads is that their newest player, Ish, only joined this month. And I'm really wondering how going into this match, the team chemistry is building and how visible that will be in their play.
True. So lads versus dads, eh? Definitely going to be some rivalry.
Yeah, I think it's time to crack a cold one almost.
Ooh.
Nice. It's soft drink, boys, don't worry. But it's okay. I think, obviously, new patch, new meta. And I think this patch is really significant because they made a bunch of changes, particularly to Orisa and Roadhog, with the halt radius being reduced from 7 to 4. So I think that is personally massive in her viability, and the Hog buffs just make him an absolute unit. So Stranger, what do you think are some possible comps that we could see in this match tonight?
Well, it's like you say, the changes to all these heroes really, and it's quite interesting how much it affects the whole play of all the comps. Basically, you know, other heroes who weren't that great before now suddenly good without actually being affected. They just, without being changed themselves, should I say. It's actually quite interesting. So yeah, I'm definitely keen to see some mix up in the support play. I mean, we've had the same stuff from Brig over and over forever now. So, and having to play around with less shielding is definitely going to affect those backlines. So I think it's going to be quite important for those teams to keep their supports up through these fights, especially with that hog hook like that, which can just devastate the whole the backline supports on his own. So yeah, kind of interested to see how the support line hold together the team.
Yeah, I think that the supports are going to have to play really tight, like you said. So I'm thinking, personally, looking at the patch notes, looking at what's been played at Overwatch League level before this patch, I'm thinking something along the lines of Widow, Sombra, Ana, Mercy with a Roadhog, and I think that second tank alongside the Roadhog is really interchangeable. You could run a double flank setup with a Hog on a ball, with the Widowmaker, Ana, and Mercy all the way back up on a high ground, just in a 3, just protecting each other from everything. Or you could run a Hog Zarya and use the Zarya to stop your teammates dying from when they get hooked. There's so much potential going into this patch, and I really have no idea what to expect. But I think a really important thing to look out for will be the off tanks of Nemwu and Infinity going into this match.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like you say, the ability to save a teammate from those devastating hooks is actually very crucial. So I can see a lot of Zarya perhaps coming out with the bubble, trying to keep some form of shielding. It's not exactly a normal shield, so not having to deal with the same problems that the others have had to deal with. But yeah, definitely, like you say, that second pick on the tank is going to be crucial. And again, as like you mentioned as well, the rest of the team having to group up at a different point. You know, they can't play that front line like they used to. We have to play a bit smarter. Like you say, the range from a Widowmaker can make a big difference to the team. Just being able to get that damage output out, but still be far enough away to just not get hooked out the fight straight away. So
yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams play, and how I'm starting to think that, especially at this level, teams might just go for their comfort picks, because there's no defined meta that they can go off. Like, for so long we had goats or we had double shield. There isn't that at the moment. So I think that teams will just start going towards their comfort picks, and I really don't know what to expect, which will make for a really exciting match.
yeah, that's true. Well, how about do you want to go through the teams real quick? Just maybe talk about each of these players here.
Yeah, I'll go through them now. So on the side of Dad's having a great time, on the main tank we have Enbo Arrow. On the off tank we have Numu. On hitscan DPS we have Purple, Flex DPS literally dead, main support Captain Fire, and aim support Ish, who, as I mentioned earlier, he is very, very new to this roster, only joining this month.
Yeah, so this team having gone through quite a few iterations, I mean, they've obviously learned how to adapt with some new players at time to time, but pretty solid team all around. And interesting point here as well was that one of the players on Lad's side actually is the manager for the team.
Yeah, that's just showing how close-knit this organization is. Like, they've been around for a decent chunk of time in the Australian scene, and they're just really close. And I think that is going to really fuel this match to encourage those bragging rights. And I think it's going to make it ultra competitive while still maintaining that like friendly kind of spirit within the org.
Yeah, I think you're right. There should be a good bit of banter. Maybe we'll see some funny moments as well in these matches from some of the cheeky plays that should be coming out. So over on the Lads side, we've got Umbrella on the main tank, Infinity on our off tank, Apollo, being the manager for Dads, is on the hitscan DPS. Our flex DPS is Terragon. The main support is Zahn, and the aim support is Cookie. Now, Zahn has actually been a bit of a shine-out player since he's been regarded as one of the best ult tracking players out there, especially for this level. So maybe we'll see him pull out some big stuff to keep the team going through some of these crazy ult combos. They might see it coming if he calls it in time. So a lot of weight on that support line. And like I was saying before, he's already got enough to worry about with the hog hooks and all sorts of other stuff going on. So we'll see how they handle that one.
Yeah, it's that ult tracking is usually, when there's good ult tracking, it's usually pretty noticeable in the structure of a team fight. Like, you can kind of identify what the thought process of the team is, because they are using different abilities at certain times, knowing full well that other abilities and ultimates are up on the other side. And this makes us some really smart Overwatch, and it's just an absolute blast to watch. And starting off this series, we are starting off on Ilios, and as we all know, we can go for some Roadhog fishing on Well. So I think this might be a good chance to see some Roadhog. Probably the best chance in this whole series if the Hog hype is really overdone and he isn't actually that good at all.
This is true. It'll be very crucial about how teams play around. I mean, there is still plenty of ways to shut down Hog in a well-formed team. You know, Ana nades absolutely put into shame. Like I was saying before, the Zarya bubble can just completely halt his potential picks. So if teams playing smart, they can definitely work around it. He's just a bit of a mad killing machine at the moment. So he's definitely, you just can't leave him like he used to and let him run around and hook everyone.
Yeah, as soon as you let that hog on the flank, he's just gonna become such a nuisance to deal with. And as soon as you start looking at two different places, that's when you lose track of what's happening. That's when you make a mistake. That's when you slip up. And that's when, well, someone from your team gets picked. I'm looking at that from like a support perspective, but that can happen anywhere. And it's those silly mistakes having so much attention going around, you just can't keep track of it. It's going to be really interesting to how these teams do that. And it looks like that we are jumping into the lobby, Stranger.
Yeah, so best of 5 first map, Ilios control. So this is going to be a really interesting one. I mean, like we were saying, point control is crucial. Hog definitely demands that by just being able to run around and be free to do what he wants. So we'll see what these two teams are going to pull together. They might not even pull out a Hog here at all. We'll just have to see. Looks like we're going to get the Orisa and Monkey instead for this side. So Dad's not wanting to play that right now. Neither team actually going to decide to take the Hog. So looks like they won't have to worry about that in the support line. But that purple on the Bastion, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I think the Bastion is an interesting pick, and we saw the Atlanta Reign in the Overwatch League very recently get a lot of success. And as I was about to say, you need that movement, and that's what that Symmetra... Oh, I lied! No, Bastion was just a tease. We have been lulled into a false sense of security, and I do not know how I feel about it as the teams are rolling out.
Yeah, well, let's see. They got the Lucio to get them up, so lads, gonna try and get that speed out, get some dominance in this mid zone. A bit of damage across the high ground, but nothing too huge here. That's a great power drive. The nade, oh my lord, that nade up into the high ground, but they can't capitalize on it, unfortunately. There's a lot of damage trading going on. The point about to be unlocked, so we'll see as they try to make their way on. Lads putting some pressure onto the objective, but it is going to be a pick out onto the Hammond there. It's definitely going to be a rough one. They do trade out, though. Still a bit of a fight backwards and forwards, but the percent rolling up now. Slowly but steadily. A lot of dominance here right now, keeping them set back.
Yeah, these control maps are going to be really interesting because neither team comp really performs really well sitting on the point. They don't want to be on the point. They want to be engaging into the team. And as I said that, the Wrecking Ball from the side of the lads does go in, and Medicine get out with the aid of the Zyra bubble as the High Noon goes off.
Ooh, Apollo to find one onto the Mercy. That's a huge pick out onto the support line. So it gives the Hammond a chance to get in. He does get hooked, but doesn't matter. Got so much health there to sustain through that craziness. Apollo's still looking for that output where he can. They do finally pick up Umbrella then, and Terragon too, so maybe they have their way onto the point. You can see they do want to get in amongst it, Hammond to get on the objective. And that's enough to just push Zahn off. Lucio just trying to escape. Apollo, though, says no. Good night to the Genji, which is a good pick. Again, there's that Hog coming in strong. Finds the shot into Lucio, which is enough to get rid of them. Infinity tries to get back on the point to stall it, but not going to find the pick he wants. The team fight continuing, even with no people there. Not a good play by them, a trickle kill there in the end.
Yeah, I think that going into a ultimate fight, when lots of ults are online for each team, a really big difference is going to be noticed between the Lucio of Zan versus the Mercy of Captain Fire. That Zambara just brings such a strong defensive ult, especially when coming up against something like a Dragon Blade, which could potentially be nanoed. Zambara is a much better tool than a Valkyrie, counting that. Even though it isn't the best, it still has a lot of potential.
Ooh, Terragon, though, gets caught out on his own. The rest of the team not there. It's a bad play by lads. They need to watch out for that. And aerial denial to come out from Dads onto the point. Again, Apollo with the 9 noon, but he gets shut down out of this one. Not happening. Looks like the Dads do not want to hear about it. Trying to push back onto this point. The lads know it's not going to happen. They reset.
Yeah, these fights are just really scrappy. You want to be engaging as a full team, especially on the side of the lads with that Zarya and the Winston. You need both those tanks massively in sync alongside the Tracer, but both support ults are up, actually on both sides, and the Nano Blade is up for Literally Dead, and Ish is going to have to get a lot of execution out of this, and Zan is going to have to play really careful to make sure he gets value out of this sound barrier.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of pressure to come out here. Oh, that pick onto Purple's big. They do force out that Lucio ult there. The Blade finds Apollo. But Terragon, he does pick up the Ana. That's good play, but is it enough? Still harassing onto the objective as they can. Hog there. going one-on-one, but he has the ult, so it's not going to happen. Infinity bites the dust on that, and with the supports at his back, he's got it in the bag. 90%. Lads have to do something here to make this happen.
Yeah, the sound barrier just wasn't enough, and it's going to have to be a really speedy re-engage, which is possible here because it's overtime for the dads.
They get on the point. They do have some pressure on, but look at that hog in the corner. Just gets to sit there and pile drive damage in. They fall one by one on the lads side, so it's looking rather rough right now. The dads looking strong to hold it together here. Mercy even pulling out the gun. That's lovely. Lucio to find the boop onto the hog, which is a lot of damage to go on, but can he get rid of the rest of the team on his own? Zahn trying their hardest. Finally gets taken out by the Hammond. Echo just not going to survive through that ult, and they will get this first round for the dads.
Yeah, I don't know how much of is this just a coincidence and a team playing better, or if it's actually Hog just being really good. Because on the side of the dads, they were playing the Hog the whole time, and they came out on top. And the lads seemed reluctant. I'm going to get these teams messed up so much. The lads seemed reluctant to opt into that Hog battle. So I don't know if that's going to be a hindrance to their success of just not playing a better hero throughout the series. And as I say that, Infinity is teasing the Hog. And possible Ryan from Umbrella, which Ryan has been decent on this point in the past, especially with the aid of Lucio, but I do not know how I feel about it in this meta climate.
Yeah, I mean, Hog used to be meta on this map anyway, purely for the well. But, I mean, now he's going to be an absolute monster, so we'll just see as they pull out the pharmacy, literally just raining some pain down wherever he gets the chance, but they're playing the smart. Lads get in underneath the building. It forces them to come in the back line. Purple finds two, though. And that's a lot of damage output early on. That should give them the advantage to get on this point. Infinity trying to get towards that well, but he gets picked up, caught out on his own there. Zahn going into the high ground, trying to get up in there Farah's face, but it does end his fate.
Yeah, that fight was really textbook stuff from the dads. They're doing exactly what I was saying in the pre-show. They were setting up with a hog and a ball, and they had a DPS going around in the flank. And it's because they were the lads were just trapped inside that room. They're the fire from one side and purple on the McCree from the other. And they just couldn't handle both because Ryan's shield is only facing one way. And it was just a really nice fight there from the lads. It was dads, sorry. It was very, very clean.
Yeah, like you say, that the ability for Farah to just get in the back line does a lot. Terragon's been 1v1ing the pharmacy as long as they can, but does finally get picked up. It's hard to take on your own. Oh, a good couple of picks. The High Noon, though, gets shut down. Poor Apollo, that's the second one of the night. And it looks like the dads are just going to keep that pressure up. Purple getting res there, pulls the power back in. And lads are going to back up.
Yeah, question marks in the chat from Literally Dead there. And these fights are just so scrappy still. And I honestly don't know what to say. Like, I think a big part of it would be that the pharmacy is relatively uncontested. Like, Literally Dead is doing a pretty good job of keeping out of range of the hog hook. And the McCree on its own with a Mercy Pocket just isn't enough to take it down, as the High Noon is coming out here from purple.
But will it find anything? Most of the lads gone. Terragon getting caught out without his shift. Falls to his grave. Still having to try 1v1 that pharmacy on its own. It's a rough deal, that's for sure. We do see Infinity trying to get... Oh, sorry, Umbrella trying to get up in the back line, but haven't noticed him going for a little bit of a pressure onto the high ground to keep him away from that backline support. It's smart. He is forced out of there and literally still just free to fly around. Maybe Terra's actually going to get some damage off, but not before Mercy finds it. Umbrella does get picked up in the back there, which is unfortunate. Lads really struggling to even get on this objective at 95%. They have to make a play. They nano boost the hog, but the output is just not there for them. Apollo does find a good pick onto the Ana, but what's it going to be worth if the rest of the team can't get on? They rain the Justice down. It finds two. Oh my lord, that's amazing. Resing the Ana, they keep their sustain going. Terragon falls as well. And again, it's down to Zahn trying to hold the point on his own, but again, that hog finding the hook. And that's enough to seal the second round. What a game.
I think a really noticeable thing there was that the lads, Zahn on the Lucio, he didn't get a sound barrier that whole round. And when he did, it was right at the end and he got cancelled out of it. As I do say that, he does actually get play of the game. But
Cool.
I think that the Mercy from Captain Fire was just a superior pick. And they were playing really well around the team. He had a DPS to pocket. And because the composition of the lads, they play so spread out, you don't get match value out of a Lucio AoE heal or even a speed boost. And I don't know if that's just a comfort thing on Zahn's part, being more comfortable both ult tracking and just mechanically on a Lucio. But that was just a pretty dominant display from the dads all round.
Yeah. I mean, as well, it was pretty rough. Apollo and Terragon not quite focusing on that Pharah Mercy combo enough to get them out of the air. And too many times Apollo just got caught out on either on his own or in a bad position and managed to get picked off. So really good play by literally there to find the right angles and be out of the way. I mean, Hog never found the hook onto them either. So I mean, that's a pretty good positioning in my opinion.
Yeah, literally was playing very, very safe. He knew what he had to be cautious of, and he played around it very, very well. As we go into our next match, it looks like we're going to King's Row, which was choice of the lads, because they lost that map. They get to choose what they're going on to next, and they chose Kings, which is very famous for its Reinhardt just speed boost composition. So they really do, by the looks of things of the map, they do want to stick Zahn on that Lucio, and ideally play something grouped up, which in the lobby they look to be teasing already.
Yeah, I think you're right. We might even see a Widowmaker to come out here. Like you were saying earlier, it could be a great play into this kind of set too. So maybe we'll get the high ground. But like you say, Zahn onto that Lucio. They're just trying to figure out their play. They look like they almost went double shield there on the lad's side. They are going to bring out the Ryan, like you were saying.
Yeah, the comp here that is being shown by the lads on the defense, I mostly understand it, but I struggle to figure out what place the Echo has in this composition. Because they have a Diva to challenge the high ground already for a potential both Pharah flying in the sky with the defense matrix and the boosters from the Diva, or a Widowmaker that is just perched up on the back. So I'm unsure about the Echo pick, and Terragon is going to have to play really, really careful if literally does stick on this Widowmaker pick instead of just going for a simple pick. And he's already being damage boosted by Captain Fire up at the top.
Ooh, well, it almost works. Goes for the shot into Terragon, nearly finding the pick, but not quite enough charge on the shot to make it happen. Lots of damage to come out early around this corner. Ooh, Reinhardt Umbrella getting a little bit sidewinded there. I don't think he was ready for it. It's a good pick again. The Hog finding huge value. The Widowmaker to pick up the... Oh, my lord. No, lads falling apart one by one here. They're really going to have to make a play about this. There's the Reinhardt to go as well. That hook, again, having huge output. Cookie just trying their hardest to keep on that objective as long as possible, but it's not going to happen. The rest of the team back up.
Yeah, and on the offense here from the dads, we're getting our first glimpse at this double off tank comp that I personally would be more of just a ranked or quick play thing, but it appears to have some kind of prevalence, at least on this point of Kings. And Apollo wants to go for the ego duel versus literally confident that he can out duel as Umbrella there, not Umbrella, sorry, Numu tries to do his best Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with those hooks, but doesn't quite come through with the pick.
Yeah, that frontline fight going really well for the lads. That Maywall split the team up nicely, but a couple picks right here at the beginning of the push. They're worth a little bit, but not as much as later on. So we'll see how that impacts the fight. They have to push back quite a bit here now to give some space.
Yeah, that pick was so bad. And another one!
Ooh.
Oh, that is so big. Numu is on point with these hooks. And it's just meaning that they're just getting one fight at a time, and they aren't actually getting to get a full-on engage, which is what they want with this Ryan comp. They want to engage, split someone with the Mei, and speed on them with the Ryan and the Diva. But they aren't getting that chance. And we're already towards the end of second point, Stranger, and we haven't even had a real fight as the look fight starts to be happening.
Yeah, they do finally bring it out, but it looks like Dads have already got on the flank as well, so they're splitting that team up nicely. The Widow up on the top left, getting to put pressure towards the cart. The fight, though, towards that Hog. They do find the pick. They lose Apollo, which is very unfortunate, but it's enough to get rid of the Dads there, push them back. Luckily, Zahn on the Lucio let him get back into that fight quicker. Actually had a chance.
Yeah, that fight, you really saw the strength of the lads' comp. They forced them into that small category, small corridor, and the Ride Hammer is just so strong, and the Moira heals and Lucio heals. That is how they want to be playing. And as you can see, they're now holding this corner, not wanting to give any ground. But there's so many ultimates on the side for the dads as sides is popped.
Oh, this is not going to go well for them. That's a good shadow to come out from Umbrella. Oh my lord. They put the Diva Bomb into the backline as well, and it picks up too. That's a great play. Genji to jump onto the Widowmaker as well. That's great. Harass literally has no chance against that. Hog gets caught out in the back with Cookie. Oh, wow. That is some top tier play there by the lads. Pulling them apart one by one. This Ashe just trying to have some output. That's a great stagger kill as well.
That was such a good fight from the lads. Zan didn't have a sound barrier, and they were probably thinking in their head, yikes, we need to either eat that grab or how else are we going to survive it? And Umbrella came in clutch, big slam on her part. And the bomb follow-up from Infinity was perfect, picked up 2, and that's all they needed to secure that fight. And a lot of swaps come through and ultimates invested.
Oh, here we go. Another Mei ult into the backline, and it does make them run back into it, which is interesting here. They do use the Zarya there as well, but it just kept the team up. A great fire strike finds the Ana there, and they push them right back to the archway again. They're trying to assert their dominance on this. Dad's trying to put some pressure back on. Their spawn is close, so they know they've got that. Fight can continue.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Apollo's going to get use out of this blade with no combo with the nano boost or anything. And we're about to see that now as he engages, get some quick pick onto purple.
Yeah, good start, Dash. He's looking for the sword, but not going to find the rest of it. The Bob doing a lot of work for that fight, really. Just keeping the lads away from that cut. Gives them some space here. They're going to have to come in for another engage. Umbrella doing their best to hold the front line. And these Rhines, really a lot of weight on their shoulders to keep that shield in place. Right now, the Doomfist to find Zahn. That's a big pick. The sleep dart through to Umbrella as he drops the shield. Oh no. Gets punched into oblivion. And now it's Genji on the cart. Apollo, can he find the picks he needs? He's just trying to survive at this point. Knows he needs to go for one of the squishies, but not going to happen when the whole enemy team there railing into him.
That is how the dads are going to have to approach that fight. They don't want to give the lads the opportunity to engage on them with that Lucio speed boost. Because at that point, when they took that fight, Zan and the rest of his team were trying to speed out, but they still caught them in rotation. They managed to secure the picks that they needed. And the sound barrier is online for Zan. Is he going to hold that to counter the grab, or how's he going to use this? I'm really interested to see what happens.
Cookie does hit his ult here. Feels a little bit wasted, if I'm honest, but maybe it was required at that moment. It's a good stun onto literally almost finding the pick out onto him. Literally playing the Doomfist is a huge play indeed. That is a massive Diva Bomb into the backline, finding two. Oh my lord, the slam picks them up on the side, and they just completely wipe through them all but one. They're hunting for the final kill, but I don't know if they're going to find it. They do manage to escape in the nick of time. Purple, it's fearing for their life there. What a play.
That one small positive that you can take away on the side of the dads is they knew that fight was lost straight away. They didn't invest any ultimates, and now they're able to come back in with 6 of their own. That was such a nice coordinated tank play from Umbrella and Affinity. As the shield was turned to block the bomb, the slam came through and knocked down 4, and the slam from Ambo and Arrow is blocked. The grab seated!
Oh no, they're just losing their ults. Left, right, and center. There's the ball, but he gets sent over to the side. He still ends up in a decent location to find the Mei there. Doomfist coming in hot in the backline, but the stun from Apollo says goodnight to him before he gets a chance to put that output he needs to. Zarya on the front line, doing a lot of pressure there. They res the Doomfist back into the fight. High noon to come out here, but it's not going to find anything out of it. Purple, Reinhardt, they're moving up along, moving that cart quickly, getting right up here. We get another ult to come out. That's a good pick from Terragon to get rid of the tank. They find the second. Meteor Strike gets Apollo in the backline, but Doom now caught out of position. He knows it's over.
Yeah, the lads had really good use of CC that fight. The Mei wall from Terragon was on point, using the back cap! The back cap!
Oh no!
It cut me off from my monologue, Purple. But that's okay. They prevent the back cap. It's, like I was saying, such a nice good use of CC. And it just resulted in the splitting of the team, and they were able to secure that. And that's how that comp wants to be playing, and they executed it perfectly in that fight. It literally swaps over to a Junkrat, which is just going to spam down these narrow chokes on the Ryan shield. Going to make Umbrella's job on the run really difficult to manage that shield.
Yeah, Purple switches up Apollo to the Diva Bomb into the back line. Mostly shielded up, so it's all right. They do manage to deal with that one well. Terragon, unfortunately, gets caught in front of that Ryan shield for just a moment. Here it is, the nano-boosted Reinhardt to come out. Bow and Arrow wants to find some pressure from that, but he mainly wasted that, unfortunately. There's the Lucio ult to come out and apply the pressure back. Lads just walks through the front line. That's some huge play, but it's going to be the laser beam to find Umbrella in the end. Great Zariel onto the point. Maywall comes out and just blocks the whole lot. That's absolutely crucial right there. And there's no way that the dads are going to even get to this cart right now. Just so much pressure. The shatter comes down, but it's a little too late.
Yeah, that was really interesting map. They didn't quite manage to push it the rest of the way through C, but the lads were playing really, really solid. Like, they were taking their fights. Their tank combos were really well executed, landing a couple shatter bombs. Just really manipulating the fact that Embo had to turn that shield at some point or another to save the rest of his team. And the second time they tried that, there was the dads, when defending that bomb combo, they played really well. They backed all the way up. So there was no rotation of the shield even required to save the rest of the team. Just really smart little adaptations like that are the kind of stuff that win you games.
That's true. Well, lads have set themselves up in quite a good position here. They only have to get it to the end to seal the deal. So I'm sure that with play like we've just seen, that we're going to be a close one, if nothing less. I don't think that this will be a first point hold. Looking at the setup, I mean, Apollo's been showing some great aim tonight already. So also going to pick up that Widow and try for the same technique.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing here is that the dads are going for a no shield double off tank defense on Kings. To be fair, they do have the May wall, which can be as a shield. They're just playing it like a spam and pick comp, which I don't know how I feel about it.
I was about to say they got 3 tanks.
Play around it. Like, I've never seen this kind of comp in ever, like outside of quick play. Like, I have no idea what to say.
Well, we'll have to see if this works out for them. I mean, the shield didn't help the lads very much on the first point last there. Look at that early pick out onto Apollo from the Hog. That's massive. That wall puts the Reinhardt in a bad position. It's the May on May action in the point, but it's going to be the lads who fall to that one. Hog is just an absolute machine. Who needs a shield any longer?
Yeah, Apollo got a bit too big for his boots there, tried to push forward and was punished. And that's what Hog is best at. Hog finds someone who's out of position, or makes him out of position with his own flank, and just CCs him into the rest of his team. It's so hard to escape from that. The DM from Infinity would have to be absolutely on point, which it wasn't. And as we're going into another fight, there seems to be no ultimates on the field, but a massive ult advantage on the support sides of dads.
And lads making a good effort to get on that point. This is good pressure. The May will actually position well. Funnels them through. Huge nade coming out there. Gets 3 of them, and they do manage to capitalize with the pick on it as well. Still on the point, still capping. Zarya goes for the kill, but not the point here, so he will end up getting picked up there. Nice work.
Yeah, that nade from Cookie is what won them that fight. I'm pretty sure it hit 3 people, maybe 4. But it was just so clean, and as soon as those heals are denied, there's really not much you can do. You're just kind of sitting ducks, and you just have to kind of wait for the inevitable. And with that speed reduce from Zan, they can just engage so decisively onto those targets. And Tarragon goes too far forward and is picked off again, with the hook on the side of Numu doing his best bloody Peter Pan impression over here with all those hooks.
Yeah, I mean, this is a recurring thing. They do get caught out in front of that shield. They need to be careful. The lads are quite aggressive in their playstyle, and they just got to be a little bit more patient behind Umbrella there. Keep that shield in front of them. Well,
yeah, I almost don't blame them for that positioning though, because we've never seen anything like this. They wouldn't have any prior knowledge of how to position.
Oh, the Tyrant to the back line. Gets shut down by the Fire Strike. Wow, that is absolutely massive. But they get picked up though, unfortunately. May does pop the wall to keep them in a good shape. Infinity going in, just absolutely trickling themselves there. That's rough.
Yeah, that stagger was a little bit brutal. And even though literally his tire was taken down with a really clean Fire Strike from Umbrella, it just wasn't enough. The fight was already won. The engage had already taken place. And there's just the support ults. All 4 of them are up in this lobby right now. And it's going to be really interesting to see how any other ults are going to get much value.
Yeah, well, here we go. The Diva Bomb come out from lads into the back line, mostly protected by shields and the Transcend, which comes out. from Ish. A lot of ults again. Here we go. Oh my lord, that boosted hog just tearing through Umbrella, even with the nano boost. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was just a very clean fight still. They were just holding on. Purple on the Soldier 76 appears to be getting a lot of value. And that's a little bit surprising. I didn't think that his mobility and his just pretty low damage output would favor it. But these shield changes just seem to be favoring more like poke damage, and they're going for that with the Soldier and the Junkrat.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, like you're saying, it's sustained damage, but it's not the best. Here we go. They're going to try a different angle on this one to come around the side instead. Gives them a bit of a straight lane for the Dads to just rail a lot of damage down. Junkrat loves this kind of play here. Lots of damage to come out. They do finally get on the car, but oh, it's the hook to come out. Just seal Umbrella. She's struggling to get that support she needs to keep that shield up there. And they just push them back again.
Yeah, the lads tried something. I like it. It made sense. They wanted to avoid that choke and speed around the outside so they had less time of being exposed to the nades of Literally Dead, who's coming up on another Riptire. And it made sense, but the execution just wasn't there. It was still a pretty nice play all around there from the Dads, just managing to hold them off. And Zen is coming in with the sound barrier here, and a nano boost is online as well. Nano Ryan potential with a speed boost. As I say that, Cookie dies. That's really bad, but they do have time for a regroup.
There's the tire to come out. It is going to get a free one into Apollo. Umbrella getting caught again by that hook. Does manage to charge out of here. Oh no, they managed to find their damage through the matrix there somehow. Must have snuck it underneath the edge or something. That's right.
Apollo with a little bit of blasphemy in chats by the looks of things. But because look at the positioning of the Dads now. The Ana has that massive sight line. The Junkrat shares that. So does the Soldier. And Enbo is on the flank with the grab, trying to avoid that defense matrix. I don't think that the lads recognize they're there, and the grab's about to come through.
Oh, there it is. Straight into the back of the car. It drops the sound barrier, though. It manages to keep them up through it again. Another Transcend to come out from Dads to just keep everyone looking good. And it doesn't let the lads get as much space as they want to. Here's the Soldier ult to come out on the side. Diva does just completely block them off. The Maywall as well will just let them not get anything out of it. But Cookie gets caught out in the making. Umbrella to fall there again, so no more shield. They nano boost the Zarya, but she gets frozen. Oh, Dad's not too worried about it, though. Still not able to find the kill. The lads having a hard one there. There's the ult to come out. That bubble no longer in hand for Inbo. So literally just going in. The uppercut finds 3 connections, but not before Apollo finds the finishing pick. The high noon to come out. Oh, not going to find the pick they wanted out of that either. They do get a nice one onto the hog, though. That's a lot to get rid of on that front line. Soldier trying to find an angle here. Purple knows what they're looking for, but not going to get it. Huge play by the lads to make that push.
Yeah, that was just a massive war of attrition, and in the end, the lads won that out. And it all started off with Zan hitting a really nicely timed sound barrier. He wasn't caught in the grab. He had time to go around on his own wheel, pop it when he needed to, and saved his whole team from that grab, which is really well set up by Embo and the rest of his team. But it just wasn't enough. It's literally swaps onto the Widow. He's going to be wanting to position really far back on one of the many high grounds that Kingsborough has to offer, or just on the general flanks, as the rest of the team have to try and push into him and just fear getting their heads ripped off.
Yeah, with only a minute left, he's going to definitely have to make some shots here. Apollo with the high noon, with the shield to cover. Again, not finding what he wants. He's really having a hard time connecting that ult there. Umbrella going a little YOLO there, I'd say. Gets caught out on their own, and the rest of the team know that they have at least a push left, so they back out. They don't want to lose another pick here.
Yeah, that pick was really massive, and we're coming into last fight territory here. But luckily for the side of the lads, they have 3 pretty significant ultimates online in the Nano Boost, the Sound Barrier, and the Mail. They're going to have to get a lot of value out of them here.
Well, here we go.
And
they go
as the
straight in.
engagement comes in.
Wow, the May ult goes in. The Transcend comes out just to keep them going. Another Zarya ult puts them in one spot, but no one's able to capitalize on the grouping. Really, oh my god, literally stop it! Finds the triple. Oh my gosh, out of mix as well. And Inbo to find the finishing touches. 10 seconds left, and they just completely wiped them with only 1.5 meters left. Umbrella just struggling to even get near it. The Hog ult will just hold everyone back.
Oh, literally, man, you can't do that to me, bro. That was absolutely bonkers. He was holding that high ground, and the rest of the team, you're about to see it now, just play the game. The rest of the
Yeah.
team pushed past him, and he was given that sight line behind the shield, and he lands the shots when his team needed him to.
Oh, that's big.
Oh,
Oh, that's a great flick as well. Out of mix.
toggling in chat. Love that. That was such clean play from the dads. It was a close map. Like it was very close. There was only like a couple. There's like 1.3 meters in that whole map, I think. But the dads just
Yeah.
managed to come out on top of that.
Yeah, literally really did pull out at the end there to just keep them in the game because those 3 picks on extremely crucial characters kept them
Yeah,
going.
sorry for moaning in your ears there too, stranger. That was maybe a little bit excessive on my part. I just got excited.
That was absolutely perfect. Yeah, well, I mean, it was just a case of consistency, really, wasn't it? Dads had a much better mid game there. They held that lane down so nicely, played the right positioning, got that high ground, like you were saying, playing the sight lines, let them put some pressure onto the lads while they were just pushing up from spawn. They didn't even get near the cart yet. They were already having trouble moving forward. What that meant was Umbrella's shield struggling to stay up during the fight, and then once they did get to the battle, the shield's already damaged, and then they would basically just tear it down from there with stuff like the soldier from purple, which I'm sure would have been one of the major problems. So
Yeah, using that comp, the dads turned the spam of their Junkrat and the angles that the soldier could get by holding that first corner of B into a massive advantage. Like you were saying, the shields were down before they even got into the fight. And that is something that the dads did differently. If you remember, back on the dad's attack, they got through B so quickly just because they kept on landing those hooks, they kept on getting those pickoff, and there was only one real full team fight on B. But the dads got on their defense got so many, and it was just such a big difference going into the time bank. They didn't have the lads on the attack didn't have a chance to mess up because their time bank going into C was so small. And that was really shown as literally it came in massively clutch. I still haven't quite gotten over that, you know. That was just bonkers.
yeah, that one will be in the highlight reel for sure. Well, we're gonna have to. We're just getting ready for the teams. Looking like, is it going to be Hanamura here?
Yeah, it is going into Hanamura, and we have been seeing a lot of Mei, particularly from the side of Terragon, and First Point Hanamura is a famously pretty good map for Mei. Because that first choke there, you can just wall it off. And with something like a Hog Hook to follow that up for that extra isolation is just, there's a lot of potential here. And I'm really interested to see how the dads handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the lads are a bit hesitant to play that hog setup. Like you're saying, the dads weren't afraid to put it even on defensive side. And look how well it worked for them. I mean, they even managed to get that nice little early pick, stalled them off that first objective for a bit. They burnt through some nice time there. I don't know. I just feel like Hog is just at that point where he's just so viable. It's hard to justify that he's not a defensive character, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I brought it up during Ilios at the very start of this series, and Infinity was, as that off tank, was reluctant to play the Hog as Anumi was, and that difference was shown, and it appears to be showing again. I wonder if that's just a comfort thing on the side of Infinity, who I'm pretty sure used to be a DPS player, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And just appears to be more comfortable in that bit more of a raw hit scan role on the Diva, but Hog has famously been like, he's been played as a DPS in the past. Yeah. So I don't know how to feel about this. Did the team just massively underestimate how big of a patch change this was and how strong this made Hog? I'm really confused, and I hope that they can adapt. I just read chat and it really took me off my train of thought. I'm sorry. And it's just, I'm lost. Just take it over, stranger. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I know exactly what you're trying to say. The dads have definitely adapted to the meta, and I feel like the lads are still reluctant to switch off. Even now, we're seeing double shield come out from them, and then ADVD just does not care, straight onto that Hog, insta locked. So let's see. They might just take it here and fully sweep it out. They're on the offensive here as well. So dad's gonna have the opportunity to show the pressure onto this first. I feel like this might be a quick first objective cap, and maybe we'll have a good team fight, a couple of team fights on the second point, something like that.
Oh, they are teasing the Bastion here as well. On the offense with Purple and Literally Dead with the Symmetra. There are a few pretty well-known Bastion tele spots on this point. You can, if you position it right, you can teleport straight from the A choke on the attacker side straight to the point. Teleport to one of the high grounds onto patio or balcony or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential to be had, but playing into the Mei is going to be really tricky. They're going to have to time it really well, and that Sigma on the side of Infinity can just do a lot of damage to when everyone's grouped up. But we have been deceived again. No Bastion for us. Appears to be a very, very heavy spam comp, just wanting to come from many angles and just be an absolute nuisance to the side of the lads.
Yeah, double explosives and let Hog do all the head scan, I guess. So, good pressure out into the point so far, or the choke, sorry. Again, Hog looking for it. We've got Hammond jumping onto the point just to try and split them up a little bit. The Dads are applying good pressure here. They're just trying to find that first pick, I think, before they fully commit. Again, Hammond just ticking up, making those supports really work for it. So the front line for the lads actually being very aggressive here. They find the freeze onto the Hog, but they got to know when it's time to back out. And Terragon, unfortunately, getting caught out there, had burnt through their heal there too quickly, I think. Didn't give the rest of the team a chance to get in. Cookies gets picked up in the back. A rogue grenade, was it? Now the tanks get pulled apart one by one. Sigma doing what he can, but Infinity won't survive against the explosive power of the Junkrat. Zahn gets on the point for only a moment, but it's the hook to seal their fate.
Yeah, literally got through that top choke that you have to have some kind of movement ability to get through. And it was just uncontested, it was unscattered, wrapped her all the way around to the point, created that multiple angles of attack that I was talking about before, and the spam was too overwhelming, even for a double shield, as literally nearly falls off the map going for a sneaky flank around coast.
Yeah, lads set up on most of the high ground here. Infinity is alone, but it looks like it's alright as the Junkrat doesn't quite continue on. They are forced to jump down onto the objective. Another good hook to come out onto this front line. They're just trying to spam them out of this. Farah still hanging in on that high ground with that Mercy pocket. They're looking pretty solid. Zahn tries to get up there for the 1v1, but not quite gonna find what they were looking for. Here's the gravity onto the point. Not gonna collect anyone, unfortunately. There's the minefield. They're coming from the Hammond on the Dad's side. Umbrella, oh, trying to survive, but gets hog smashed into a mine. That's rough. It's the Mei ult to get rid of the hog there. That's a big commitment for one pick. They find the Hammond as well. There's the pick out onto Ash. Can Tracer pick up the final slack there. Polo hunting for this pharmacy, but gets found by the Junkrat now. So it might be time to back out of there, and it is indeed. Yeah,
Really interesting choice of Farah counter on the side of Terragon. They're supposing that the high ground and the skybox, sorry, isn't too high, and they're opting for a Torbjorn on the defense here. And look how aggro that turret is being placed. It's covering the point, covering any possible flank around the other side on the side of the Farah. It's yet to get much value. Xandas does a sneaky little boop. And the Dads do not want to come up that top choke. They do not want to go top right from their perspective, because that's just feeding right into the strengths of the team comp with the lads. And as you see, they're holding this other high ground. They're just waiting for the right hand to trying to spam them out, take out that turret before they fully engage.
Oof, both the tanks do end up going up there, but I think they've discovered why they don't want to. The sleep dart coming out onto Hog, but they aren't able to capitalize on it. There's the tire right there. They drop the Justice as well. It finds one in the turret, but then gets stopped out of it. It's a good pick out onto Infinity, so they've cleaned up the point and they tick away. There was those team fights I wanted. Apollo, no! Gets picked up off their own. Oh, no.
Oh, Apollo's not having a good time, poor boy. He could do with a Panadol and a mid-strength beer for sure. But that's okay. And that was just really patient offense on the side of the Dads. They took their time. They knew they couldn't go in while that Torb trial was up. They had to wait till it was down, wait till the cooldowns were expended, and then they could engage with that ball onto the high ground, and it got a lot of value. Big power drive, followed up by a really ballsy tire on the side of Literally, actually. It's just right in the middle of their team, all up in their grill. Manages to clean up too. I'm surprised it wasn't more, quite frankly. And the far ult followed it up really nicely. And just converted into a B cap with 3 minutes and 19 seconds left on the time bank.
Yeah, well, it was actually quite interesting. Like you were saying, Dads didn't want to commit to that high ground, but Hog did end up going up there and on their own kind of pulled the lads in to push through that point, and that gave the rest of the team an opening to break out onto that objective, and then, like you say, the Riptire kind of just tumbled things on from there, the cascade of deaths. The point left open with just the supports. They get easily picked up by the rest of the team. It was very smart, like you say, very patient. You can see the control on the Dad's side here. The lads struggling with that a little bit, I think, from time to time here, and get it like that. Like I was just saying, you know, getting pulled out to the side. They should have just known they don't need to commit to the push just for a hog kill, you know.
Yeah, it's just the patience and just the general how they're approaching each fight on the side of the Dads has just been so much stronger. And besides the whole not playing hog thing, I think that is the biggest benefit. It was really sneaky sim teleport and the wall off onto the point. That was so smart. Really nice team play there, getting position on the point early.
Yeah, they put a lot of aggression on Daz, trying to get back on it where they can. The Pharah in, Purple doing what he can, goes to the boot, but not quite going to get anyone off the map just then. It's a couple of picks out onto the lad side. It's looking rather rough. Lucio manages to get Purple in the end, but the rest of the team are now joining the battle, and the Dads look like they might just roll this one back here. The Discord Orb is doing a lot of work right now, and they do manage to clean it up.
Yeah, I thought that the lads could have clutched that, honestly, but the hog was just such a beefy target on the point, and the Lucio, and I think it might have been a Baptiste or something left, just wasn't able to take him down on their own, and that hog was just... That was the main reason, because after that it was just squishies, and that wouldn't have been any problem at all. And a lot of ults are coming up. On the side of the Dads, there's both tank ults and a Transcendence up as well, as the Immortality Field and the Symmetrical, and the Amp is invested, and the Fire Strike doesn't get any value as this fight is just starting off.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, they were smart. May saved that ult. They're popping a lot of ults here on the Dad's side to try and stop this push. Infinity, unfortunately, is going to get caught there. I was going to say that the May saved the wall from the first opening here onto that far side. Actually very clever, because Dads predicted that last time and moved around to the other opening. So at least they're trying to adapt, but they just didn't have the firepower to win that fight.
Yeah, that fight though, I still think was a net win for the lads. They only used the Amp Matrix, and they drew out pretty crucial ultimates from the Dads, and the Hanzo on the high ground. And the spam is just so strong. There's just so many places that the tanks have to look, and they just aren't keeping up. The double shield is proving a little bit of a tricky one to handle, as they're looking for a different sim tele spot. They're gonna May wall up onto the high ground, and then from there telly. That's what the Orisa looks like it's doing at least. But maybe I'm just getting hopeful for some cheese. I am not sure.
Oh man, they are trying their hardest to get through. The telly does come up onto the high ground. They're trying something different again. I like it. The Maywall does pop, and then on the other side of the fight, picks up the Ana. There's a great pick, the freeze, but the dragon flies across and finds Terragon. The Shadow finds the Hammond there. For the lads, they've actually done some good work here, and they should be able to find this point easily now.
That was a bit of a bamboozle on the side of Apollo. He put down the teleporter for the rest of his team, but they didn't take it. That was planned going into that fight. You could tell them no one even considered taking it. They just walked right past it with the speed boost. And that just really got inside the head of the Dads, and they were just on the back foot from the get-go. Purple's holding very far forward. And then one clip! Holy dooly! Purple,
dude.
madman.
Rip Cookie, dude. He just didn't even have a chance to realize what's going on.
Yeah, Purple was hungry, he wanted some food, and he took that cookie straight away. Like, that was really smart positioning. They just weren't expecting that at all. Purple got a pretty mechanically good kill with the one clip there. But it literally does fall early, giving a bit of an opening on the side of the lads here.
Yeah, at least the tanks are still in play. The Dads should be able to hold this with the Hogs still in play. They're good. That's a great nade onto the objective. Another teleporter comes in. That shield actually doing a lot of work. The breakdown saves them from a lot. They find Enbo, and they drop the May ult. Ana gets onto the point to try and stall, but gets picked up. Apollo, unfortunately. Oh, is this going to be the roll right here? They've just pushed one by one. Getting rid of the Hammond here. Crucial, crucial stuff. Like that.
Yeah, that this map on Hanamura has been really interesting because you'd think in your head, oh, the lads capped A with a decent time and they had a pretty decent snowball going as well, but they still have less time because that sim teleport strategy that they were going for, they really had to gnaw at the minds of the dads to see what weren't they expecting, and eventually they found out with the bamboozle telly, and it did pay off. But the time bank still pretty even. 23 seconds. That's enough time for a decent regroup, I guess. But I think time bank is pretty not the biggest factor here at all. I think that how they play this defense, with again they're going for no shield and they're going for the spam with an Echo and a Junkrat. There isn't even like a Hanzo or a Bar or anything. This is, or a Mei even, with no shield. I think this could be tricky as, yeah, I'm a bit, I don't know what to expect on how they're going to play this defense.
Maybe they're just trying to mix it up, catch them off guard, try something a bit different here. But looks like, I mean, this is what I was thinking. They have to get aggressive on this, don't they? They really need to find that early pick, stop the trickle onto the lads here. So, here we go. 2 minutes on the clock. It's going to be tight. Good bit of damage out from Doomfist early on. Forces Hammond back there now. Purple is in a good position, though, so let's see what they can make use of it. It's going to be enough to find Cookie in the back. That's a big pick. They do get onto this objective. Well, they're trying to get onto this objective, should I say, but the dads are all over it already. Hammer getting on. They get caught out. Terragon, unfortunately, will fall there. So this is not going to happen for the lads, that's for sure. The laser beam finds Umbrella in the back.
Yeah, the Zarya pick on the side of Umbrella is an interesting one because they must be really confident in that dive, because with how the comp is being played, I do not think that Umbrella is going to get a grab at all, not even close.
Yeah.
And Infinity is giving us his first taste of him playing the Roadhog. And Apollo gets a really early pick on the Captain Fire, getting a little bit greedy with his honor angle. And Apollo again doing his best, literally dead impression here.
Oh, they actually might have this here now. The third pick, there it is. They just got to deal with the hog on the point. They get the hook out onto the Hammond. It's dealing with purple as well, so it's just 2 tanks on this objective. Hogs holding on as long as they can, but it looks like they have to go up the point here. And it looks like they've actually done it.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty nice cap there. They just grinded out that victory. On the bright side, on the side of the dads, they didn't use any ultimates. They are comfortable and confident that they can hold it on second here and that they can gap A. They're going to have pretty soon 6 ultimates coming online for this defense, and there's not much yet at all really on the side of the lads, so it's going to be a dry fight on the side of them.
Yeah, only 35 seconds left, so like you're saying, without the ults, they're going to have to build real quick here and make their play onto the point at the same moment. So it's going to be about smart playment, working together. Nice. Oh my lord, there it is, Apollo to find the headshot. Purple does get rid of Zahn though, so that's quite a bit of healing lost over the sustain of the fight. Getting that hog out, the ult actually keeps Hammond off the point. They deal with the Ana. They managed to get almost the second tick. It's the Transcend, but this cloned Roadhog. Oh my lord, the ult to come out from literally with only 2 seconds. They can't touch. Oh, they do manage to get on for a moment. Zahn just trying to hang in there, but with that Discord orb on and the whole team firing away, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, those ultimates that I talked about at the end of point A really came back to bite the lads in the bum. And I'm surprised that the dads even managed to clutch that out, because Infinity was playing a really clean Roadhog there. He was doing exactly the job. He had the point presence. And that point presence was forced by a minefield up on the high ground by Enbo Arrow. And I'm not a fan of that minefield. I think that he should have saved that minefield to drop it on the point in the overtime, because make contesting when they have to is really a bit of a nuisance. But he didn't do that. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. They're the players, not me. What they did worked out, and they held, and they have 2 minutes and 23 seconds to try and get just a little bit over halfway onto point B of Hanamura.
Yeah, 2 minutes 20. It is a rough one indeed. We just saw what 2 minutes had an offer, and they had a great push there as well. So let's see if the dads can do the same. They're pretty much going to have to I think make this first push on if they really want to secure it 100% without any worries. But nonetheless, it's going to be a tight one. This.
Yeah, they're playing a dive defense, which is I don't know how I feel about the dive defense here, because the Roadhog is just such a strong anti-dive presence on the enemy team. Like it's just dumb, quite frankly, to dive into a Roadhog. But they're going to give it a crack anyway. The Tracer, the Winston, the Ball, and the Doomfist can all come from different angles. But I'm really curious as to who the Mercy is going to try and pocket for Cookie. I understand the Lucio, but I don't understand who the Mercy is going to pocket in this dive.
Maybe they're going to try to keep up with the Doomfist. It's the pile drive to come in. But they're going to get straight on the point. Dads want to get that early aggression. And Apollo's been trying to find a pick this whole time. But the healing has been great. Oh, there's the pick out onto Terragon. So they might just have the pressure to push in here. There is the Mercy as well. So the pressure's on. Onto the objective they go. Trying to aggress onto the tanks. The lads struggling. So outnumbered right now on this objective. Both Wrecking Balls just having a little spin around on that objective. Spin to win. Of course, Infinity does fall there as well. Let's see what they can do. Dads are just playing their range. There's the hog hook to get rid of Umbrella's spin. And now it's again down to Zahn on the objective, alone. Fighting for their life, doing some great dodging, but the hog hook gets saved out of that though. Oh, that's great stuff. The res out onto the Hammond, but the area denial means they can't spin any longer. Still no pressure on this objective. They've managed to keep them off a single tick yet. Finding Apollo and Cookie there though is massive output. So now it's going to be down to Hammond Doomfist. Can they hold this objective any longer? That hog still on that left side. Ends up getting Infinity in the end. Another ult to come out. Just absolutely massive. Gets both tanks with that. And they do just look at Lucy on the high ground. How is Zahn still alive in this fight, even with the anti-nade and all that focus fire? Manages to keep on their feet. Crazy play right now by them. They find Apollo. Terragon again to fall. Zahn finally goes down there. That took them long enough. Dad's really struggled to get that kill. Cookie unfortunately gets caught alone. And now the spin to win on the point is all they've got left in them. Umbrella gets found by the nade and they will finally concede that point. That's a lot of time wasted. Huge
yeah, that was
play.
actually really, really smart on the side of the lads. They were engaging there to staggering. They weren't using ults and forcing ults out of the dads. And I was really worried that Infinity was low on the point. And I was like, if Infinity pops Primal here, that's just not understanding what they were going for there. A bit of a miscommunication on the team, but he held onto it, which was the right decision. And they're just looking to engage from multiple angles again here on the high ground. The Ball on the left, the Winston and the Doomfist on the right. And Zan holding lone on the point, which is going to be really tricky when coming up against a hog. And Terragon falls quickly as the engage comes in.
Umbrella puts down a good minefield into the opening of the side. They boost the hog, but he falls off the edge on the dad's side. Overtime ticks out, and they get their own minefield on this objective, but Infinity just comes in and cleans the whole thing up, using their ult to make it happen. Zahn, unfortunately, does get picked there, so dad's looking like they're in a good spot. There's a good res to come out from Cookie. So lad's in a good position once again, just trying to get rid of these tanks as quickly as they can. Purple does fall there. There's in our, oh my lord, no. I think the dads might just lose this one here. They've only got the hog ult to make this happen. The pocket from the Mercy's good, but is it enough? No, they knock him off the point.
They keep this series alive, Stranger. We really do have a match out in our hand here. The lads are not going down without a fight. That stagger on point A just proves really, really effective. They drew all the ults out, bought out so much time, and we're seeing this sneaky little riptide from literally earlier in the map, cleaning up two. Just really nice, ballsy play from here, relying on his team to be there when they needed, and it resulted in a pretty quick cap, but it wasn't enough. The lads take Hanamura, they keep the series alive. The dads are still up 2-1, but going into our next map, it's going to be really, I'm really curious to see what happens here. I believe we'll be going to Payload, Stranger.
Yeah, we will be. I have to say, I think Zahn staying on that point for so long, even surviving up in that corner of the point with an anti-nade on them, just burnt through so much time. Such good movement, great use of the wall riding. and really just allowed the rest of the team to trickle on and on and on and on. They did, like most of the rest of the team did get on and die straight away, but it was enough that it distracted them off of Zahn so he could keep in, or they could keep in the fight, you know. So great play there. That time burn was huge, and I'm glad to see that the lads they're playing a bit more more clever here now, you know, actually pulling some plays out. So
Zahn is really showing his comfort on that Lucio pick,
yeah.
which is a favorite of many players of the game, including myself, and it was just showing some real proficiency on it there. Just being difficult to track down, and alongside with the really just mobile tanks of the Wrecking Ball and the Winston there. And we are going to payload, excuse me, and the Dads have chosen to go with Dorado, which in my head makes a bit of sense. Literally has played the Widow. First point Dorado is a pretty good Widow. And it also has a bit of potential for some fire over that bell tower and the archers. But I haven't seen a Dorado defense in so long that is not a double shield.
True.
So I'm really interested to see if they play a dive, if they're going to stick with this double off-tank setup that they've been running, or how they're going to execute this. I'm assuming alongside a Pharah or a Widow on the side of Literally Dead.
Yeah, I think from what we've seen tonight, it makes sense. It's going to be interesting to see if the lads actually do go for that double shield, like you've been saying. I mean, they've been pretty comfortable on the rest of that going from like the previous matches. So maybe they will just stick with the old style.
Yeah, it's like the rest of this series. I have no idea of what to expect at all. But we're going into it, and the Ana, the high ground that the Ana can take on a defense here gives us so many opportunities to land bionades behind shields or players, and just land big bionades onto the objective, because at the end of the day, Overwatch is an objective game, and everyone is everyone is just clumped around the payload, and those nades can just be, there's such a fight turning ability, and Cookie and Captain or Ish, whoever is playing the Ana on the side of the Dads, is going to have to really get some good value out of the Ana here on the defense.
I will say though, a lot less hooked Anas than I thought we'd be seeing. They've been playing really well tonight, actually. We've got to give them credit for that. They've been positioning themselves really well, so that's really good. I mean, losing Ana for early fight is a pretty much guaranteed defeat, so really good work by those guys to keep in the fights as long as they have been.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if these comps have been played outside, because you have to remember, these teams are both from the same org. They might have had some internal scrims against each other, so they might be the only ones playing this. I don't know. And I'll be really curious to see in the later matches of this week of AOL if other teams are playing it, if they would have had practice in scrims as an Ana against those hogs, playing and practicing where to stand and understanding where those Roadhogs can come from. And we are going into Dorado here now. Everyone's just assembling heroes. ADVD is immediately going onto the Roadhog. No hesitation. Has had such a good run on it this series and wants to keep that up. Starting on... Oh, I don't know which side they're starting on, actually. I'm dumb.
Yeah, it's going to be, I guess... Oh, yeah. Okay, Dad's on the attack here. And definitely on the attack, they do want that hog. So Infinity did tease us with the hog there as well for a moment on the defensive side. But it looks like they're discussing the tanks right now. It's the only undecided role here. And there's that shield, like you were saying.
Yeah, so they do want to run a shield on the defense. A common defense strategy here has been hiding in the bottom of the red building that Apollo is currently sitting on as the tracer, hiding in there and then trying to hold really far forward onto the point, just lock them inside the spawn. But they aren't running a May for that. And the Pharah from purple is coming out the pharmacy on the side of the Dads, which I think will just be really dominant here. There's no direct Pharah counter, really. The best they really have is a Roto with a really sneaky rollout there by Tarragon on the Doomfist, who gets slapped.
Oof,
Cut
yeah,
me off from my monologue.
Yeah, good pressure. I mean, Apollo's going to struggle here with that Pharah flying around. They're going to have to get themselves in a good position to deal with it. And look how much pressure it's applied. And the hog pull into the background. Oh, that's some good play there by ADVD to just get in the right positioning, flank up that high ground. Don't let them keep that height advantage. And it's pushed them all back down onto this cart. They still have another flank opportunity here if they're smart about it. Doomfist trying to get in amongst the back here as well. so much pressure right now onto the lads. They're just being forced further and further back. Terragon here finally outputting quite good damage on the front line, going for the pharmacy now. But it's a rough combo to try and fight against. Apollo does pick up literally there in the end. They've had a bit of a rivalry all night, those two, so he'll be chuffed about that kill. Purple does get picked up. Oh, sorry, Apollo does get picked up by Purple, should I say. And there it is, the Pharaoh on Pharaoh action. Gets the Mercy as well. And they bring Apollo back into the fight too.
Yeah, Terragon died really early on the fight on that Doomfist and immediately was like, zoinks, we need to do something to counter this Pharah. Decided for an ego drill and the Pharah of his own came back and really held his own, got a lot of significant damage done, coming up in that ultimate, even ahead of Ultra on the Purple, even though he started late. But he's going very aggro at the moment, looks like he might get picked off and he does.
Oh.
Purple is just, the Pharah 1v1s are in his favor. And it's just a bit of stagger, and Purple with a really nice wraparound here on the Pharah, actually getting right behind the shields of the lads. And he's just uncontested, no one's shooting at him.
Oh, Umbrellas feels really hard done by right now. Trying to escape this terrible situation. We do finally get Apollo to rejoin the battle, but it's just a little bit too late now. Well, here we go. Purple's not done yet. Wants to get aggressive with Apollo. But Apollo does have the advantage that Echo does typically have a better advantage over a Pharaoh like this. There's the transcend to come out.
Oh, the nade from Ish was huge. You can trance all you want, Cookie, but if Ish is going to land nades like that, you might have to think about that again. And I don't like that engage, trying to defend A at all there. The Ryan was nowhere near back. They're going in with 5 people. They even invested ults. I think that is possibly a worst case scenario there on the side of the lads, and the picks are coming through. And now, because of this, they have so much time to regroup. The tanks and the Pharah have time to, and the Ana have time to take this high ground or take as much positioning as they want. And they're holding so far forward already, just not giving any space to the lads.
Yeah, like I say, those trickle picks at the end as well, just the cherry on the top for them. They've been playing really well. There was, unfortunately, a lot of ults invested in that fight. Not great. Umbrella does get slept there, but they aren't able to find the pick out on the car. And like you're saying, they just, look at this, they're just walking this up, and Lad's just way too afraid to get anywhere near him. It's a snipe off up into the high ground with the 2 hit scans. Zahn's trying to get in there as well and apply some form of pressure if they can. Let's see if we get a headshot from the Widow. It's, enough to kill Zahn there.
But look at the hog.
Yeah, still on the high ground. They're just putting out a lot of pressure. Apollo goes whole hog onto the back line, but the cart continues to roll because Zarya is still there. They do manage to corner them off, but he doesn't find a pick out of that. Apollo, unfortunately, not quite getting the value out of that ult that they wanted.
Yeah, that was a really scrappy fight. I thought that Embo was almost going to get the cap right under the lads' noses there, or when it looked like literally going for a back cap. Oh, surely not.
No.
The ball doesn't see it.
Steven knows.
Oh, did they get there? They got it!
Oh, no, literally. You can't do that.
Oh, Pogger's in the chat. Oh,
no.
that is a big ol' C9. C9's in the chat, please, everyone. That was really intelligent play from literally there, with a bit of just obliviousness on the side of the lad.
No. You just cannot allow that kind of stuff to happen. That's just gained them so much right now. Again, onto the early aggression here. Lads are going to make up 3 minutes 20 on this final push. They drop the Diva Bomb over the edge, but not going to find anything out of that. Too many shields and bubbles in play. Pile driving down into the point. They find Purple there nicely, but Umbrella getting caught there by the whole hog. Again, Apollo brings out the hog, but gets put to sleep. And Hook, the CC is just immense. They don't get anything out of it. Great play by the lads.
Yeah, that C9 was really good because they were able to cat B without using any ults. They went into C with 6 ults on hand, and with those, not even using all of them, they only used 3. I may have spoken too soon, but they managed to get some good progress into point C here. Just about to round this final corner towards the final checkpoint. And this is going to be a bit of a mad scramble on the side of the lads. They have the mobility tanks to contest the point and hold it, but winning the fight is a whole other story.
Yeah, good spread from the bombs to come out from Hammond there. It's enough to get Dads off of it. They haven't got the numbers right now to contest that fight, and they know it, so they're being smart about this. Trying to get a hook pick there on their way out the door. If lads are smart, they'll really get aggressive here and try and get rid of one of them right now. before the rest of the team can join, but it's just a little bit too late at this point, I think.
Another
Is there now?
C9, guys?
Yeah.
They aren't letting that happen twice.
No, it's not going to happen again, sure.
That would be a little bit embarrassing. I think that would be brought up at many a 21st birthday parties if that happened twice.
That would be the game-winning C9 too. That would be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be quite frankly massive. And there are 4 ults on the side of the Dads here. They are looking to engage really early. The lads aren't quite contesting the point as Zan does pop the beat in coalition with the Valkyrie on the side of Cookie, letting their support ults. I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, the ult combos though. Oh, that Zarya ult was massive. It allowed Hog to just stand there and pump the whole ult into their faces at a meter range. And that's going to definitely be enough. They hit this point.
Yeah, I think a big difference between these two teams is just the use of ultimates. We did see on Kings a couple of nice tank combos on the side of Infinity and his team. And Umbrella, sorry. But we just see it from the whole team throughout here on the Dads. They're getting a lot of value. There's always something to combo it with. They always have a plan going into those fights. And it's just really showing, and the results are there as too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, they burnt through those ults on that earlier push. They used a lot where they should have probably not committed so much. And then, of course, the C9 lost them a lot of traction as well. So 2 crucial mistakes, I think, there really cost them the biggest chunks of time. And it's kind of unfortunate to see. But if they might still have this, I mean, they can play just as well. We've seen them do it before. Seen them outplay the Dads quite well. So see what they have to offer on this first push. I think this first push around the corner here will be quite indicative of the performance of the rest of the game here. So
yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'll be really interested to see if Tarragon decides to run a Pharah, because the Pharah worked for purple on their offense, but appears to be opting for a Doomfist, which he's played with varying success throughout this series. Like, it's been a bit on and off, but it seems confident in it. It seems like the team has been planning it, and he's going for it. And he'll be able to engage the high ground on Ember and Arrow straight away, who is scouted very, very early.
yeah, they'll just have to be careful about purple with that McCree and not let him get too close with that stun, because that'll absolutely end his career on that one. Good little ramp off the roof here to get into the background. Literally on the watch for it though. Good pressure up into the high ground so far, but not quite any play. That's a huge play by Tarragon to come slamming down, finding that one. Does get traded out, unfortunately. The team not quite able to save him from it. Zan will fall there too, which is another crucial play. They do manage to get Tarragon up just before they fall though. So it's the Hog to go down. A good punch as well. This will actually give lads a bit of space here. Monkey, Umbrella getting caught there 4v1 though. The team not committing to that play around the corner, and they did not get the memo on that. Doomfist on Doomfist action, but no one to find the pick. It's in the back there though, onto the Zen, which is another, like I was saying, these supports got to be very careful with that kind of play. Hammond, Hog, they're just going to push right into that back line and finish you from that way in.
Yeah, Infinity got picked off really early, went deep with the Wrecking Ball as you're meant to do, but the comp of the Daz is just so difficult to die. There's Hog hooks, there's stuns from the Kree and the Doomfist, there's Discord Orbs, there's Sleeps, there's Nades. The fact that they won this prize is honestly really surprising, but at least there wasn't much of a cheap contest where they will die. It's only going to be 1 death on the side of Embo, and he'll get back pretty quick on the Wrecking Ball anyway.
Yeah, definitely the lads are much more aggressive team. It seems like they have a better advantage on the attacking point. They definitely struggle on that defensive, it seems. So maybe this will actually go quite well. They've got good momentum right now. Let's see if they can keep it going. Infinity does get caught, but again, so much space, so much time for them to get back in on that Wrecking Ball. And DVD absolutely getting railed into by Apollo. Just say, nope, get back. You're not allowed to push up just yet.
Yeah, and you can see the lads here that is taking the high ground, which the Dads did not do as much. But they're taking the high ground, which means the Winston can engage onto the supports on the low ground and still have, as I say that, he jumps in anyway with the Nano Boost. But that's okay, there's a Nano Bear, Primal's online, that's okay.
Oh, he has to use Primal to survive that Hog ult though, but it basically burns through the whole ult, which is good. Arrow to just drop his ult on the cart, but Blue don't really care too much about that. They just continue to roll it through. The lads in good control, and Monkey still in the back there. Does get caught. Umbrella, unfortunately, she couldn't quite escape there. It's a good hook to come out from DVD. He wins that hook fight. And now the two supports need to get back. The dynamite. Oh no, they will not escape it.
No, I think Tarragon needs to get out of dodge really quick, otherwise he's just going to be a massive hindrance to the respawn of his team, and it looks like he does get out safely. And now, they appear to be holding the card anyways, which is interesting. If I was the main tank on the side of the dads at the moment, I'd be trying to take this high ground as soon as I can. And you can see the Zen and the Ana set up really far in the back. They're just a team, they're working together, peeling for each other, they have massive sightlines over the point. It's going to be really difficult to dive them because there's so much peel in the form of a Doomfist, an Ash, Wrecking Ball. It's going to be really difficult to play into this comp.
Oh, it's a good board placement onto the point. Purple will fall there as well, so they lose 2. But it's a good trade out. Lads losing a couple as well. They sleep Bob, but a little bit late really. He's already gone out of the fight. Tarragon trying to output some damage as they can. After being rezzed back into this fight, they do a lot here. Finding that Doomfist nicely along with the Polo. They're working together well to burst through. Here's the Nano Boost onto Tarragon. So they have to try and get one of these supports. That's a good pick. There's the one to the Zen. Terra's just keeping them back. Finds the Ana as well. So someone's going to get on this cart and actually push it. Zahn knows about it. They go back, but they've done enough to get rid of the dads.
Yeah, and they go into point C with a decent looking time bank. Almost 4 minutes there, as some composition swaps are coming through on the side of the dads. There's a Zarya instead of a Wrecking Ball, and Purple is onto the far now, literally very recently swapped over to the Widowmaker as well. They want to keep the supports to stand there, which I don't blame them. On Dorado Sea, there's a lot of places that you can position as supports to just get some decent value out of the sightlines. And the hook comes through and Purple dies so early. That's massive. Look how aggressive Infinity is able to play on this Roadhog. Just get all up in the grill. Just an absolute nuisance. And another big hook.
Oh, this is good. Lads have actually a great spot to be right now. They do unfortunately lose Infinity with the ult here. But they do go for the...
Getting almost shades of what they were doing on King's Row. Pushing through B on that offense. They were just getting picks and there's no actual proper team fight there really. It was just won by picks.
Well, they're doing very well here. That's great play here. Apollo finds good value out of that ult. They clean up Arrow, and this is going to be enough to hit that point, surely. No, literally just jumps on and says, you're not going to get it just yet. You're going to have to work for this one, folks. Trying their hardest to stay alive. It is good enough for them to get the rest of the team in. They find Tarragon. So lads are going to give up on it. They have to regroup now. They didn't quite make it.
Oh man, I can literally was so clutch in that fight. He knew that he wasn't going to get any kills. He just had to stay there and contest the point and just be evasive, and he was just that, and he gave enough time for the rest of his team to get back, and that massive respawn advantage was just too much of a barrier for the lads to overcome. They had to regroup, but that's okay. They have this big time bank. They have the time to think about it, as Umbrella goes in very aggro initially with the Winston.
Oh, ADVD finding such good value out of their ult so far. Gets Umbrella there. Purple doesn't fall in the back line. They get rid of the Mercy as well, so lads with the Hog ult, Infinity trying to get rid of this tank on the point. Can they do it? They will find him in the end. Hog forced to come out. ADVD goes for the hook, finds it, but getting rid of a Hog takes a little bit of time. It's a big health bank to get rid of, and giving the team enough time to get back on the dad's side. They're just trying to get rid of him, but it's just lasting way too long. Literally does get picked up on the Tracer. Down goes the Ash for them as well. The lads are getting the picks, but they got to get rid of these tanks off this objective. There is the CC that they need. Spin to win, plus the Monkey ult to just push everyone back, but that Hog's still raining around the paint. They finally pick them up. Arrow now, the final tank to try and hold it, but gets CC'd with the uppercut. And my lord, lads are working bloody hard for this one. They're getting all the picks they need. There's the cut off for the Reaper ult as well, so they don't get that off. But still, Dad's just keeping the fight going. They just trickle on and on. My lord, what a fight.
Yeah, this respawn advantage is just so blatantly obvious in these kind of fights. Apollo, he's already on his way to another duplicate, which he used so effectively in that previous fight. Swap to the Wrecking Ball, recognizing that if you can get those minefields on the point, that's just going to be such a hindrance when you have to contest it when it's that close to being capped. But somehow, by the skin of their teeth, God's hold on, or the dads hold on, sorry. And as they're going into, it's going to be the last fight, and Zan's down early, just not as comfortable as he is on that Lucio by the looks of things, and then he's going to have to wait.
Yeah, only 15 seconds left here. They have to play smart. It's a good hook, but the bubble saves them. Infinity lucky on that one. There's the Tracer Bomb, but it doesn't find the kill they want. Infinity does fall. Their Reaper just absolutely tears through the tank line. Purple, please. And that is gonna be enough.
Man, the dads they were just a little bit more consistent throughout how they were playing. Like on that dive comp in particular, Tarragon and the Doomfist and the rest of his team looked the best they did in that series on that dive on Dorado's point A and B. They looked pretty confident with what was happening. So having a look at this little play of the game from Tarragon, this really nice use of Doomfist mechanics, bit of a sneak, just using all the abilities, nearly gets taken down by the Hog. And I think the big takeaway from this series is that the patch notes, they're true. Hog is back in the game, Stranger.
Yeah, he's an absolute monster, actually, to the point where playing a shield tank is actually really almost ineffective at this point. It's kind of scary to think. I can definitely see Blizzard making changes to this, though.
Yeah, I think the general outroar from the community has not been positive at all. They don't want to be stuck in another situation where there's this one meta so long. And with a composition like that, it's just so frantic, and it's just absolute hell for pretty much everyone playing except the Roadhog in that situation. But I'd have to give my player of the match to DVD. Playing really solid on the Roadhog, consistently getting those picks, setting up the team, and just being an absolute menace in the side of the lads.
Yeah, I mean, DVD did actually perform very well. The consistency on the hook is the crucial part of that, and they did really have that super high. So some great play. It is kind of crazy to see a Hog being almost the DPS carry and a tank in the same role. It's like players like Doomfist and that are almost scared to jump in at this point. They have to make their way in, get the kill, get out. There's no hanging around in these kind of battles. So with those long sustained fights that the dads were so good at, they just really thrived. I mean, at the end there, DVD managed to stay alive for pretty much that whole battle, which really was the turning point. They were just outputting so much all on their own. So great stuff, and also great job by the healers to keep them in that fight most of the time. So I have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, and to answer my own question that I kind of posed at the start of the stream, I asked Ish, he's so new to this roster, will he hold his own? Will he be comfortable? And yes, he was. I wouldn't have guessed that he was so new to this roster just by watching it, honestly. He was very, very comfortable, very in sync. There weren't any moments where I was like, I don't understand what you were thinking there. There's very clean play all around from both sides, honestly. But the dads just managed to get that upper hand, and they get bragging rights in the ThrowDaddy Esports Discord server now. And that is a scary thought for lads who are going to have to walk back into that server with their heads hung low.
Yeah, there'll definitely be some good banter going on. Well,
very solid banter.
Okay, well, dads take it home today. The old man is still the man of the house and still in charge. So a great matchup tonight for AAOL. Thank you for everyone who's been here to watch the show. It's been a fantastic one. We'd just like to say a quick thank you to our sponsor again, My Republic, for being such a great sponsor. They have such a good service. Best kind of internet for a gamer, no doubt. So make sure you check out their link, myrepublic.net. I've been Stranger. Tonight with me was Niki. And thank you a lot. I think we'll catch you guys at the next one and have a fantastic night. Cheers.